Alright, so Paralives. I was a Patreon member since July 2023 and it's out now in early access, and I've got thoughts. I guess the prevailing question is, do I have regrets? Do I regrets?
Regrets?
I want to get this part out of the way first. I made a first impressions video of which you can see here, link in the description. In that video, I go through the highs and lows. Everyone gather by this corner. This corner is the book club corner. Then the sudden realization of, it's really early access. So if you want to see that reaction, go there. But now I've had time to really settle in and put my thoughts in order. So let's just talk about it. Well, first things first, it looks great. Now I realize that's easy just to target the aesthetics and the artistic direction, but there's a considerable dedication to create a well-defined art style, and it is distinct, unique, and in some cases bold, meaning, not the ultra-realism of Enzoi or the Maxis Match of The Sims. Paralives is a hand-drawn, picturesque style with colors that are soft and inviting that really lean into the cozy imagery. We see this illustrated in the world building, the architecture, the self-contained town with a variety of idyllic places, even the household presets of the different parafolks that share in their description mirror that of a quaint yet burgeoning sophisticated lore, all of the way down to the clutter and assets used in the world, especially in build mode. All aspects seemingly have a unified aesthetic that is distinct to Paralives, yet similar to life sims of the past. There's clearly an effort made to immerse us in the environmental storytelling that took years shaping. That is to say, character customization is a strength. With numerous indicators, we can, like clay, mold our para in unique ways, and we have heights. Short kings and queens unite for this, for our cause is righteous. In this genre of life sim might be a first, someone please fact check me on that, but it truly felt to me that no para looked visually the same, aside from some carryover art style distinctions. Obviously, each para looked like a main character in their own story. Build mode, I will say, will be my weakest critique, as I am not a builder, and for the most part it felt like there's some really strong intentionality in their design here, with plenty of room to build on, pun not intended. And honestly, where I struggled the most was just understanding how the different floor levels work. In this example, I'm trying to experiment with a wall segment, wanting to stretch it upwards and downwards just to test its limits. Unfortunately, stretching the walls up and down moved the entire floor, which was something I just was not expecting. Again, I'm not a builder, but there's definitely things here that are left to be desired. If you're a builder, let me know your thoughts, or if you've used the build mode, yeah, what do you guys think about it? Now, with that out of the way, let's talk gameplay. That's kind of where I'm at with this, and obviously it needs to be said that this game is in early access. Bearing that in mind, and while this game is certainly not in its infancy, and the backing and studio size needs to be taken into account, all that, again, a card-carrying Patreon member, all of that said, warranted, take into account, all that said above, understood. With all that in mind, early access is not a magic shield in where we can't share critiques. Okay, so just wanted to square that right away. Now, gameplay, let's talk about it. So there are a lot of aspects to like and expand on here. Some notable game mechanics are the storyteller concept, the design around job ranks, quests that encourage exploration and meeting parafolk, the potential of having a evolving personality that helps individualize parafolk more as they grow throughout their lives. All of that has strong gameplay potential. Just going back to the storyteller aspect again, the design can have an enriching cascading effect that impacts the foundations of the rest of their gameplay. And right off the bat, choosing a storyteller feels like you're choosing an experience that plays with you and plays with your story. Something similar to RimWorld if you've played that game. In that way, you don't always have to create things on the fly or be in a constant imaginative stress. Rather, you have a companion challenge that perhaps would help you explore your parafolk's journey in ways you wouldn't have done otherwise. This in turn can help you center life goals and achievements, something to strive for, one of them being increasing your job ranks. And right off the jump, after buying your home, your lack of funds compel you to find work, and in turn, as you work, you increase your job rank. So interestingly, as I'm sure this applies to other jobs too, job experience counts for something. And in my playthrough, I started as a physical education teacher, and to be an elementary school teacher or even a high school teacher, I'd need to meet requirements for experience and or ranks previous to even apply for those jobs. So already we have this sense of encouraged progression that in itself already deviates from a strict dollhouse sandbox. Not to say you can't play this game like a dollhouse sandbox, you sure can. And as you play through the course of your para's life, there's a strong sense of gameplay progression as you climb job ranks and incrementally earn more money day by day. And to help break down up the monotony, you also have missions and goals that you can pick up from quest boards that give your para XP to help you evolve their personality, which also gives them interesting perks. And these are not just for the quests are not just restricted to the quest boards themselves. You can actually talk to paras as well with question marks right above their heads to perhaps pick up another quest or an objective. Quests can also give you a variety of rewards, and on top of which, each night that you sleep, your para has a chance for a random story event by way of your chosen storyteller, things that are obviously still in the concept phase that help circle back to their main gameplay loop. All that said, there's still some things conceptual-wise I remain hesitant about. For example, I think the relationship UI and the relationship level system needs revisiting, as it can often appear detached from your para's character. They can be hard to read and feel esoteric as you progress through the game. And one example is the chat system. As your para chats with another, solo or in a group, a bar fills up, and when it does, you're given a chance at an interaction. What I like is that it makes you feel more engaged with your para as you're playing them. The interactions selected also coordinate with the personality type or your personality type and the mood that your para is in. This can make it feel that if your para and the para you're speaking to have similarities, interactions available will have a good chance of success, while paras who have starkly different tastes or interests or personalities have a variety of interactions to choose from. At least I think that's the intention. Ultimately, after initial impressions fade, conversations can feel dry, long-winded, a grind, and not that rewarding, as relationship levels do a troubled job of conveying progress, especially at a glance. Worse so, if you're playing multiple paras in a household, it can feel like a chore to balance between paras in mid-conversation effectively while managing emotions and emotion reactions which correspond to wants, and each para has their own style of needs and wants, and while unique in concept, I think struggle to find gameplay unity throughout the course of the gameplay loop. All of this is to say, it feels more rewarding to play as a solo para as you're given a unique and more focused experience. Now, just bringing it back a little bit to needs and how they work off of personality types, I like that how being a creative and fun para means you have an additional fun need state, and how sometimes a need can be blocked out for a day due to your para's personality type. I thought it was like really funny and different how in some days, my para didn't need to worry about like his bladder or even hygiene because of their personality type, which is fun because in a gameplay experience, it means you can focus growth elsewhere. Individual need-based reactions also need to be revisited as they can feel cumbersome. Perhaps paras can autonomously choose their own wants and prioritize fulfilling their wants to manage those behaviors. Again, like I really appreciate these design decisions because they almost feel RPG adjacent, and I do appreciate that it adds variety to your life sim journey. Ironically enough, they add growth and experience that oftentimes life sims just tend to forget they need, in that it makes it feel more lifelike, I guess you could say, and less dollhouse sandbox. All that said, as a card-carrying member, I wouldn't be opposed if, some of these systems were completely redone or done away with or transformed into something else, because at the end of the day, there is something special here, aesthetics and cozy be damned, although that's where their strength is at the moment, and it's not where I find myself most beholden to. So, okay, back to my original question, I do not regret my patronage because I wanted to support a project I believed in, that I still believe in, albeit I'm not jaded by the obvious either, and if friends were to ask me if they should get on board the Paralives hype train, I'd tell them wait. I'd tell them there's no harm in waiting. I'd tell them your money matters, your time matters, and while I'm bought in more ways than one, that's just an extra thing I choose to do. And if you want to be on the bleeding edge of anything, you can often get scars. So all of that is to say, I'll be watching Paralives closely. I'm mixed from what I've seen so far and also hopeful. Is that copium or a measured response? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. But I want to thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I hope to see you in the next video, whatever the next video may be. So until then, I will see you then. Bye for now. I did this with halls and water and a bad cough, so I'm happy that this is done now.